Namaskar friends, welcome to session 4 in our course on operations management. As we have seen in session 1, we have covered the topics that we are going to cover in this course. We have also seen the distribution of the course. We have seen that this course is a 30-hour course in which there will be 12 weeks of discussion. Each week we will have half an hour sessions, 5 sessions of half an hour each. In session 2 we have covered the basic objectives. Prior to that we have seen the definitions of the word operations management, and then we have seen what are the objectives of studying this course or what are the objectives of this process of operations management. In session 3, if you remember, we have covered what are the functions of the operations management personnel, or what are the overall defined areas of working of operations management team. We have seen that for any organization there are 3 broad verticals. One is related to finance, another is related to operations, another is related to the marketing. So our focus primarily is on operations. Then we have seen that what are the important areas or scope of operations of this subject. We have seen that starting from demand of the product to the design of the product, then to the production planning, production control, material handling system, materials management, inventory control, work system design, capacity planning, aggregate production planning. There is a wide scope of this subject, that is operations management. So we have seen that the scope is very wide, but sometimes we have to classify the scope so that we are able to understand the overall framework of the subject. Somebody may ask a very simple question or a layman's question, that what all do you study in operations management? You need to have a very structured answer to this question, that we have covered these important topics in this course. So we need to have a structured answer. The structured answer can be that starting from the conceptualization of the product to the launch of the product in the market, how it is getting transformed into the final product. Managing the product development cycle is overall, we can say, the broad umbrella under which all other subsystems can fall in. So we are starting from the conceptualization of the product, then designing the product, then forecasting that how much volume of product would be demanded in the market or what is the demand of that product, then planning our facilities, planning the production processes, and then planning the manpower who are going to convert the raw material into the product, then managing our capacity, then doing the production control, finally evaluating the quality, warehousing, and finally the product is launched into the market. So managing all production operations, usually we can say, will fall under the overall umbrella. The umbrella we can call as the operations management. So we have seen that it can maybe overall management of the production system, that it is a subsystem of the broader manufacturing system. So we are here managing the operations part of any manufacturing industry. We are not directly dealing with the finance, we are not directly dealing with the marketing, we are directly dealing with the operations part of the organization. So we have seen that within operations part also there are so many sub components or sub elements or sub parts that we can discuss, or that fall under the scope of operations management, or that fall under the overall umbrella of operations management. So subtopics we have seen, and I think each one of them we are going to address in this course. We are going to study product design and development, we are going to study sales forecasting, we are going to study plant layout and facility location planning, we are going to study aggregate production planning, we are going to study capacity planning, we are going to study materials management. So each and everything that falls under the scope of operations management will be covered. And in summary, we can say conversion of raw material into the final product, managing the overall transformation process right from the raw material to the final product will be the scope of our study in this course. But in order to remember what is the overall broad framework where we can focus our efforts or focus our activities, we can club them into 5 P's, and those 5 P's I am very quickly going to highlight today, and then we will focus our attention on these 5 P's in context of the production system, that how we can classify the production system. There can be, we can say, different types of manufacturing activity happening in an organization, and how we can classify them, that we will try to understand today. So let us quickly first see the operations management framework is divided into 5 P's. Now what are these 5 P's? What are the focus areas? We can say we have to focus on the product, we have to focus on the plant, we have to focus on the program in context of the time, we have to focus on the processes, we have to focus on the people. So these 5 P's we have to manage in the overall framework of operations management in order to meet our objectives. What are the objectives? To produce a product which is of right quality, in right quantity, at right time, within a reasonable cost, so or within an acceptable cost. So that is what is our objective. These are the 5 things on which we can focus. So as we have seen, 4 words we can remember regarding the overall objectives of operations management, that is QQTC, that is quality, quantity, time and cost. Similarly, what we need to control in order to get all these 5 things, we need to focus on these 5 P's, that is product, plant, program, processes and people. So let us quickly see each one of these. Product, it is linked between production and, it is a link between production and marketing. So marketing team will assess the needs and requirement of the market, the needs and requirements of the customers, and then they will try to link it with manufacturing. So once we have to see that what we want to produce, so that we will cover in our week on product design and development. We will try to see some of the tools and techniques which can help us to make a successful product. Firstly designing the product, and then finally converting that product into a tangible product after rapid prototyping or after prototyping. So a product must have performance, quality and reliability, aesthetics and ergonomics, quantity and selling price, delivery schedule. So these are the important, we can say, criteria related to a good product. That good product will be having good performance, quality, reliability, cost justification. It should be able to satisfy the human needs and requirements at the defined time. So delivery schedule is important, quantity is important, selling price is important. So first and foremost is the product. So we have to focus on product design, and then we have to see all aspects related to the product in our overall management of the operations. Then the plant. The plant accounts for major investment. If you have studied the analysis or the financial analysis, you will see there will be some fixed assets, there will be direct cost, there will be indirect cost, and accordingly we calculate the break even for the organization. So the plant accounts for the major investment. The plant is concerned with design and layout of buildings and offices, reliability and maintenance of equipment, safety of operations. So we can see that whenever we are thinking of the plant, we have to take into account all these things, that the operations must be safe, operations must be maintenance free, or we may require the least or minimum maintenance. Then the layout should be such that we have optimal utilization of the floor space. So all these points have to be taken into account. So plant layout and facility location design is also very important. So plant layout must allow smooth movement of men and materials. That is also one of the objectives of plant layout. Then type of layout is dependent on production type, volume of demand, etc. So we will see today the types of production system. There are intermittent type of production system, there are continuous type of production system. So the type of layout will depend upon the type of production system. The volume of demand, for example, we require very high, you can say, production rate, or the demand is continuous, we have to supply the product at a very fast pace. That will dictate or have a bearing on the type of layout that we are planning for the operations. So first thing we have seen that we have to focus on product, then we have to focus on the plant that is going to convert that raw material into the product form, or is going to facilitate the transformation process of the raw material so that we get a good quality product. So two things are product and then plant where the transformation will take place. So here we have seen that what are important criteria on which we can say whether the plant or the facility design is good or bad. If it is making optimal utilization of resources, it is ensuring smooth movement of men and material, it is minimizing the wastage of time and effort, we can say that yes, it is a good plant design. So we can see where we have to focus our energy. We have to focus our energy on product design and development. We have to focus our energy on facilities location and layout design. Then we have to focus our energy on process or the transformation process, that is converting the raw material into the final product. So the methods used to create a product or transform the raw materials into the product form. Now selection of a particular process depends upon the following factors. We have to take into account the available capacity. So our capacity planning comes into picture. Manpower skills available, so people comes into picture. Type of production system, layout of plant, it is related to the previous point that we have discussed, that is plant layout and facility location. Safety, maintenance required, manufacturing cost involved. So we have to focus on all these factors to come out with a solution that which is the most efficient and effective process for our, you can say, requirement or for our target. Our target is a quality and quantity of the final product. So as per our requirement, which process will give us the desired output. So we have to take a decision based on all these factors, that is capacity, manpower skills, type of production system, layout of a plan, then safety of the operations, maintenance of the operations, manufacturing cost. We can see this list can be endless. There can be other criteria and parameters also which will affect the selection of the process for the transformation or the transformation process for finally creating our product. Creating a product means making a product or fabricating a product or manufacturing a product or producing a product. So basically we have to see that which transformation process will be most effective and efficient. So we have seen three things. We have to focus on the product, we have to focus on the plant, we have to focus on the process, then we have to focus on the program. We have to see that how, in what time space or in what time frame we have to create our product. So program refers to the timetable of production. Very easy. In your classes or wherever you are working, you have a timetable. you have a time when you are going to enter into the office, there may be a time when you have to leave your office. So program refers to the timetable. So it prepares the schedule for purchasing. So we have to get the raw material. Transforming, we have to see which processes are involved in the creation of the product or manufacturing of the product. We have to see which machines have to go under regular maintenance at what intervals of time. We have to see the manage of cash flow. We have to see the storage or management of cash flow we have to manage, and then storage and transport. So time domain is also very important, and therefore we have to manage the overall manufacturing program in such a way that our delivery schedules are met. Finally, the most important part, that is the people. So people are a part of an organization. Progress of organization depends on attitude and skills of the working people. So we have to ensure that we are providing an environment to our workers where they can feel comfortable and motivated to work for the objectives of the organization or work for achieving the targets set by the organization. So we have to ensure the overall well-being of our human resource. We not only the physical well-being but also the mental well-being of our workforce or the human resource, because once our workforce is motivated, they will work out wonders for the organization. So we have to focus on people also. So the concepts of work system design, concepts of the design of a system in such a way that the worker feels comfortable and motivated to work for the organization, that is also coming under the overall framework of operations management. So the job satisfaction of people depends upon good match between the people and the jobs, and therefore the concept of ergonomic design of workplaces is very important, and we will cover the concept of ergonomics in our course on product design and development, that when we are designing a product we must consider the aspect of ergonomics, that the product is so designed that it is easy for an operator or a customer or a user to use that product. Similar concepts can be applied in work system design also, that the person when he is performing his task or job or activity in an organization, he must be able to do it in the most effective manner with minimum fatigue and minimum discomfort. So he must be able to comfortably do his job in the organization. So we have to ensure that the jobs match with the people, people also enjoy doing their work. So it is possible by providing them right motivation, right kind of training, then conditions of work and safety must be ensured, and proper wages and salaries. So if the employee is motivated, he feels like coming to the company because the environment is congenial for doing the job, he is properly trained to do his task, and he is getting adequate salary matching with his skills and the amount of work he is doing, I don't believe that, or I don't feel that any worker will have any problem working for an organization. So if we focus on these 5 P's, starting from the product, then the plant, then we can see the process, the program, and lastly the people. If we focus on all 5 P's in the overall framework of an organization, if we manage these 5 P's properly, we will be able to achieve the objectives of operations management. So the overall scope of operations management must focus on these 5 P's in order to be successful. So, or in order to ensure the success of an organization. So now we will try to see that what are the different types of production systems. Currently we have focused, I think all learners must be now acquainted well with why we are studying this subject, where we have to focus our attention, what are the areas of concern, what are the factors that we need to look forward to when we are managing the different aspects of operations. Now we will see what are the types of systems and what are the maybe important characteristics related to these systems, and how the things vary in context of these 5 P's. For example, if we have basically we will see there are 2 types of production systems: intermittent type of production system and a continuous type of production system. So we will see in context of people how the 2 systems vary. In case of intermittent, the product design may keep on changing from time to time. Today we are producing a specific design of a product, but there may be a change in order and the complete redesign of the product may be required, or there may be a new order in which we have to manufacture a completely new design. What type of skills are required for the people? I think you can answer it very quickly. When the product design is changing on a regular basis or at a regular intervals of time, we require a person, or we require people who can adapt to these type of changes. They have a versatile skill set. Whereas on the other side, if there is a continuous type of production, there is a regular demand, and we are producing same product maybe for 3 years or 5 years, what type of skills are required? Specialized skill of a person, because he has to do the same task on a regular basis. So we don't require a versatile skill set for a person who is working on a specific operation in a continuous type of production system. So similarly, the time, that is the program, the plant layout, the processes used, the product that we are producing, all these 5 P's, the product, plant, process, program and people, all these 5 are related to the types of production system, or they are interrelated, because we will see that when we see the type of production system and the characteristics of each one of these production systems, we will see that they are directly related to these 5 P's, and in that production system how these 5 P's have to be managed, that is where the engineering skill will come into picture. So let us quickly go to the topic of production systems. Now production system, just for definition, it is a manufacturing subsystem. So we can say manufacturing is on a broader perspective, production is a subset, we can say, or a subsystem of the overall manufacturing activity. So manufacturing subsystem, that includes all functions required to design, produce, distribute and service a manufactured product. So you can see, starting from product design to the act of creating that product or producing that product or fabricating that product or manufacturing that product. So starting from the design of the product to the production of the product to the distribution of the product, and finally if there is some problem, the service of the product comes under the overall production system. Elements are, we have seen this diagram 2-3 times, that there are inputs into the system, then there are outputs from the system, and there is a transformation happening to the inputs so that we get a usable or a tangible product in the output. So input, transformation and the output are 3 elements of any production system. Now what are the types of production system that can be grouped in 2 categories broadly? So there are intermittent type of production systems and there are continuous type of production systems. So we can see type of production system broadly classified into 2: intermittent type of production systems and continuous type of production systems. Then sub classifications are there for intermittent type. What are sub classifications? Project, jobbing and batch. On continuous side we have sub classifications, mass and process type of production flows. So in many good books and in many we can say websites, you will find out 3 classifications based on the type of activities involved or the characteristics involved. You will see job shop type of production system, batch type of production system and a mass or continuous type of production system. But here we are trying to further classify them into 2 broad categories, that one is intermittent, where the demand of the product is changing over a period of time, and continuous is when there is a continuous production of the product. So one simple example that I usually give for continuous type of production system is the production of power, either by hydropower or by coal. coal based power projects. So you see continuous production is there. Once the production of power stops, there is a shutdown of power, maybe in certain number of cities or towns. So that is a continuous type of production system. You have input, maybe water is coming flowing in the river, you make a dam, you stop a water and then use that water for producing the hydropower. So that is continuous type of production system. And intermittent can be a workshop that we have maybe in a market, where a person has maybe put up two machines, and these machines are being used for on a job shop basis. You go there that I need a threading on this part. So what the person will do, he will mount that component on the machine, make a thread on that component and hand it over to you. So it is, design changes are very frequent. Your requirement goes to the person and then he is managing only that particular product for you, job shop type. Maybe you are going for a specific job to that person. So we can say we have seen the two extreme cases, continuous manufacturing and a product based manufacturing or a specific job based production system. So basically intermittent is where the demand is not continuous, and continuous production system is where continuously you are produce. So we will very quickly try to understand the basic aspects. Now intermittent production systems, intermittent means something that starts, maybe initiates and stops at regular or irregular intervals of time. So we can say that intermittent is time to time production system. In the intermittent production system, goods are produced based on customers' orders. As I have told you, go to a shop and maybe tell that I need this particular product, I need threading here, I need turning here. So a person who has a lathe machine will work on your specific order and try to satisfy your requirement. Large varieties of products are produced, production of goods of acceptable quality. Now you can see that the design can change. I may have a different requirement, the other person may have a different requirement. So the product design changes are very frequent. So variety of products are produced in intermittent type of production systems. This system is very flexible because the demand is changing continuously. So as per the demand, the system will operate and produce the product. Now what are the features? Now you can try, this can be an assignment, try to match the 5 P's with these characteristics. So what are the features of intermittent production system? Very quickly we can see, flow of production is not continuous, variety of products are produced. So you can see variety of products, so focus is on products, the first P of the overall framework of operations management. Volume of production is small, so it is related to the process. So volume of production is small. General purpose machines are used because the designs are changing continuously, so we cannot have a specific dedicated machines. So we need to have a very versatile and general purpose machines. Sequence of operation changes as per design and production depends upon the customer's orders. So we can see that it is a flexible type of system, that is the intermittent type of production system. Now continuous production system, we can see that in continuous means something that operates constantly. So it is a continuous, as I have taken an example of hydropower generation, it is a continuous process without any irregularities or frequent halts. Goods are produced continuously as per the demand forecast. Goods are produced on a large scale for stocking and selling. So we can see that it is a continuous system, goods are produced on a continuous basis. So goods are not produced on customer order. So we can say, maybe we can take example of ready-made garments also. Ready-made garments are continuously produced by the company based on the marketing and based on the tastes and the fashion prevailing in a particular time domain. So it is not that if I will order then only the company will produce that shirt. So it is not based on the customer order, continuous production is there. The inputs and outputs are standardized along with the production process and sequence. Again coming to the same example, 42 size, 40 size, 44 size shirts, so the output is standardized, that they have to produce their product based on the standardized we can say sizes in case of a automatic production of garment manufacturing. So the inputs and outputs are standardized along with the production process and sequence. So the process is also standardized, there will be a dedicated department for cutting the you can say cloth, and then there can be stitching, and then there can be finishing. So we can say the inputs and outputs are standardized along with the production process, as well as the sequence is also standardized. Now what are the features of a continuous production system? So features of a continuous production system are: flow of production is continuous and not intermittent. Products are standardized here. In previous case, product design is changing continuously. Here the products are standardized. Maybe one example of a continuous production system can be manufacturing of automobiles. So once the design is fixed, so you will continuously keep on producing that design or that particular what we say the variant of a particular model of car. Products are produced as per quality standards. Products are produced in anticipation of demand. So we have a anticipation, we have a forecast of the demand, so that accordingly we will schedule our production. Standardized routing sheets and schedules are prepared. So the process is more or less automatic. The schedules are also produced automatically, and we are able to meet our schedules because there are not many frequent design changes, not many frequent process sequence changes. So more or less we are able to meet our targets of time. So you can see that there is a difference between the two types of production systems, that is the intermittent type of production system. So job shop and batch type of production systems will fall under the intermittent type of production system, and continuous or mass type of production systems will fall under the continuous production system. So broadly we can see the types of production systems can be classified into two broad categories, that is intermittent type and the continuous type. And we will see that depending upon the type of production system being adopted or being followed in a particular organization, our operations management tools and techniques will vary, or we have to adjust the operations management methodology specific to the specific type of production system being followed. Yes, but the overall we can say objective of operations management will remain same, to ensure the quantity, quality in specified time at reasonable cost. So overall objectives will remain same in spite of, or in we can say irrelevant to the type of production system being followed. So we have objectives of the operations management, that is clear to us. Now depending upon the type of production system being followed, we will follow the principles of operations management and will try to manage both types of production systems, whether it is intermittent type or it is continuous type. So the learning, or we can say the understanding or the development of knowledge or the know-how related to the basic principles and rules and guidelines related to operations management will help us to manage both types of system, the intermittent type of production systems also, as well as the continuous type of production systems also. So with this we close today's session. We have tried to understand the overall framework of operations management, where we need to focus our attention, the 5 P's in the overall framework, and then we have tried to broadly classify the types of production systems into intermittent type and the continuous type, and we have tried to figure out what are the specific characteristics of the intermittent type of production system as well as the continuous type of production system. In our next session we will focus on the last session on this fundamental discussion related to the operations management. In our subsequent discussion we will focus on specific areas or specific sessions or specific we can say tools or techniques which will help us to manage our operations properly, and in week 2 our focus will be on product design and development. Thank you.